we won't have enough battery to make it all the way home. We're getting ready to take our Model X on a camping trip to Cataract State Falls Recreation Area, I believe it's called. It's about 230 miles away. We got things all packed up. Run from here down to Terre Haute. We're going to charge up there. The electric that we're going to have in the campground, 30, not a 50 amp. I'll most likely be just plugging into a regular like 110 outlet. And we want to use our car for camping in the back of it. So we'll be running our AC all night for a couple of nights. In the 90s today, 95. It's not going to get any cooler over the weekend. It's supposed to be a pretty hot one the whole time. A little over 3 hours to get us to Terre Haute. And they have some 250 kilowatt chargers there. We're going to reset trip A. Zero distance, 0. We're at 93% state of charge, and it's 93 degrees out. What are the odds of that? So I was a little bit off here. We have 191 miles to go to Terre Haute, and it's 2 hours and 55 minutes. We should arrive with 28% state of charge, and that's pretty good considering we're leaving at 93. Full self-driving. Alright, so we did 193 miles. We used 53 kilowatts of energy. Average energy consumption was 274. We have an estimated available range left of 114.9 miles. Car was sitting at 35%. Battery remaining. And if you recall, we didn't charge to 100% for this trip. We charged to 93%. So basically at this point, we would get a little bit over 300 miles of range with 93%. The temperature on the way here ranged anywhere from 94 to 97 degrees. We ran anywhere between 65 and 70 miles an hour. It had a little bit slower traffic in a few areas, heavy traffic. So I could have charged to like 70% at the house or maybe 80%. The main reason I charged up a little bit higher is it's about a third the price to charge at home than it is at the supercharger. So I wanted to get as much electricity at home as I could. I'm already up at 250 kilowatts. I am super happy with that, ramping down a little bit. But there's no shortage of supercharging stations here. I think there were 3 cars here when we arrived, and we were car number 4. And now you can see there's only 3 of us total here. I say the ones down on this end down here closest to the store are the 250s, and then the ones down on that end down there closest to Culver's are the 150s. Somehow I've been roped into going to look at makeup. So I'm not sure how long we've been here, maybe 15 minutes, but the charging went really quick. We arrived at 35% state of charge. We are now 84% state of charge, and it says 9 minutes remaining. That's because I have the charging set to go up to 93%. I don't think I'm going to go that high though. We really don't need it at all. We're going about 50 miles down the road. We're going to camp a couple days, and then we'll be headed back to the house. Plenty of juice, so we're going to hit the trail. 30 miles to our campground. We had an excellent night here last night, sleeping in the Tesla with the Tesloid 10 on the back of it. And our camping spot's really absolutely perfect. And we do have power at this site, but we didn't use it last night at all because we don't have 50 amp. We have a regular 110, and we've got a 30 amp. But the car fits up quite nicely with this Tesloid tent, and it makes it really convenient for in the mornings getting out of the car and getting dressed and taking care of our business. And you can see we back right up to a nice nice forest. It almost looks like there's a walking path in there. And look at the canopy of trees up there. This really was a fantastic spot. Very rustic. Anchor Solex this morning. Trying our electric skillet. And we're currently pulling 1104 watts out of it. I think that's correct. And right now it says we have 42 minutes left to use. And that's started at 9. I think we started at 90% this morning. This is Cataract Falls, Indiana. These are the lower falls. Little light hiking and a little bit more view of the falls. These are still part of the lower falls. Looking off there in the trees is a covered bridge we're going to go check out next. So we found a good shady spot to park the car in Cataract Falls, and we're gonna have a short picnic. And we found a great shady area up here, and no electricity up here, but that's not a problem using our Anchor Solex. We're able to cook and use it anywhere we like. So we're in a place called McCormick Creeks State Park, and we found an unexpected surprise here. We have got 3 Tesla destination chargers here, free to use. Now I picked the white one down here on the end, but I don't know enough about these to know which one packs the more juice. I kind of wonder if one of these do. The cables look significantly thicker. That one's got kind of a skinny cable to it. It's giving me 48 amps. Getting a short hike in McCormick Creek State Park. Completely shaded, nice trail to hike on. Makes this 95-degree weather not feel too bad. I think we found another little unexpected hidden treasure. This is all pretty well put together too. Check out the falls, look at this. We weren't expecting this. Found a pretty cool little stone shelter up here. Just out in the middle of nowhere. A little bit of light off-roading in the X. So we're at a place called Yellowwood Lake State Park, and it's pretty nice, but there's nobody here. We're the only ones here. And we had to drive quite a bit of distance through like absolutely nowhere, back off-road, gravel roads, out in the middle of nowhere. It looks good though. A little bit closer. Yeah, all kinds of babies out there. We found another one of those little hidden gems in Indiana. This lake is quite large and quite nice here at Yellowwood State Park. Really is out in the middle of nowhere though. We absolutely drove for, I want to say 20 or 30 minutes through gravel back roads and, you know, almost no houses or anything around out here. But I mean, it's kind of worth it. It's quite beautiful out here. So the Model X is sitting a little bit higher. I raised the suspension because we were going through some pretty rutted out roads. I think I have at least 2 more settings I can still go up on it. High and then extra high, I believe it is. But I have to say it's performing like a champ. Continue to be impressed by the range of the Model X. Have absolutely no range anxiety whatsoever, and we've been in all sorts of rural areas, towns of a couple thousand and under. In the park that I showed just a little bit earlier in the video, they did have the Tesla destination chargers, so we plugged in there for 25-30 minutes maybe maximum. We weren't there very long, and we really just plugged in because it was there and it was free, and those were charging at 29 or 30 miles per hour. So this will show you our efficiency. Since we bought the car's got a total of 3,260 miles on it. We've used 908 kilowatts, and our average has been 279 watt hours per mile. Our trip A is the one that I reset when we left the house to come on this trip, and that was yesterday afternoon. And since that time, we've driven 286 miles, 81 kilowatts. Average energy is 283 watt hours per mile. And the neat thing is it shows right now we've got 169 miles or so approximately available to us. But the neat thing is we camped in this car last night. We ran the air condition at 71 or 72 degrees. Super comfortable in the car all night long. The temperatures yesterday were in the mid to high 90s. We had absolutely no problem running this car like all night. We lost about 10% of our battery, equates to approximately 30 miles or so, but absolutely no issues with. We didn't have the car plugged in at all, by the way. We were at a site that had a 110 plug on it, but we were too far away from it really to plug in and use our tent. So we just ran the car off of the battery and used up about 10% of our battery, and then we've been just driving all over the place today, and we're going to go back and use our battery again tonight. We are not that far down the road from Bloomington. Bloomington's kind of on our way back, Bloomington, Indiana, and there's a supercharger there, so we're going to stop there, probably charge a little bit, mostly because we want to. But we'll charge there for a little bit, probably catch some fast food or an ice cream or something, and then we're going to head back, get our camp set up for tonight. We got one more night of camping out, and then we're going to head back to the house. So we are at a supercharging location in Bloomington, Indiana. You can see we're the only one here. We were down the road picking up a little bit of fast food before we came over here, and we saw a Cybertruck go right past us, come down this road. So we fully expected to see them here when we arrived, but they didn't stop here. But at least we know there's one Cybertruck here in Bloomington, Indiana. And the Model X is absolutely filthy riding down gravel road. It's just really dirty. Set on miles, I think we're around 53% or so. So we're not going to get super fast speeds, but we're still doing 158 kilowatts. So we're still doing pretty well. So we're starting to tear down this morning. Already have the car disconnected from the tent, and you can see we have a lot of stuff going on the picnic table. We've made coffee already, had some breakfast, and we're going to be starting the ride home here in probably another hour or two. I think we have about 60% battery left. We won't have enough battery to make it all the way home, but we have lots of charging options along the way. We used probably a little over 10% of our battery last night. We started running the AC as soon as we got back to the camp, and ran it all the way up until about 8 o'clock this morning. But we had an unexpected rainstorm last night, along with it being pretty hot. And the nice thing is it rained awfully hard. You could probably tell from all the water that was on the car, and being inside the car felt super secure. It's made it pretty much a non-event. Having the tent hooked onto the car made it awfully easy this morning to get up and put our clothes on, get our stuff kind of arranged, and just made it overall so much more convenient. So I'm kind of sold on having the tent on the back of the car as opposed to a separate standalone tent. The Effingham, Illinois superchargers. These are some of the older ones. They're 150 kilowatts with 58% in the tank, and we drove 101 miles, and we arrived here with 23% left. So we used roughly 35% battery today to go 101 miles, and we stopped here, picked up some lunch, and then swung over by the superchargers. We've been here about 17 minutes so far. We have more than enough to get home. It says we get home with 22% left over. We've been hanging out a little bit longer though, because we were eating lunch, and frankly the car was, had enough charge to leave before we finished our lunch. So we've been hanging out just a little bit longer, but I'll show you a little bit where we're at right now. Okay, you can see we're at 68% state of charge. The temperature's 88 degrees today. We've been running the AC pretty strong on 69 degrees or so. Even though we're at 68% state of charge, we're still getting 104 kilowatts, which is pretty good actually. No complaints with the speed there. You can see we've got plenty to get home. We would get home with 23% battery left, or 118 miles left over. If you look over here at our trip meter, you can see our efficiency wasn't nearly as good this time around. 310 watt hours per mile, and a lot of that has to do with the fact that I did not try to drive efficiently at all, because I knew we were going to pull in here with a high state of charge. So I was running down the highway 75 to 80 miles an hour, Again, not trying to be efficient at all on this particular drive, just because we had a lot more battery than we needed in order to get here. So didn't try to conserve anything at all today. We're going to be leaving here in just a couple minutes and headed back to the house to get stuff unloaded. And that's going to be a wrap for this trip. This is the beauty of full self-driving in a traffic jam. The car's doing all the work. Looks like this is going to be a while too.